Howdy Tamers, and welcome to another Digivice review video. This time I'm going to be going over my thoughts for the Digivice version 25th color evolution for the D3, and I also have previously released D3s as well as a bit of a comparison. So if you want to see my videos on these, I have basically talked about them quite a bit, so if you want individual reviews or thoughts about the models behind here, check out my other videos, especially the Super CSA. So first of all, I'm a big fan of the D3, as you can probably tell by the abundance of D3s in the background there. So of course I was very excited to start this one up. Now I haven't completed it, but I have played it enough that I can sort of formulate an opinion on this release overall, and I'll definitely still be enjoying it and completing it once I'm done with this video, of course. So at the moment you can see that I have Vmon here. You can get, as you would expect, all the 02 partners, and you also can unlock Terriermon, who evolves into the Rapidmon armor later on. Now I haven't gotten to that point yet. You have to clear all the maps and also unlock all the Digimentals, but so far I've basically gotten to adult or champion for all of the starter 02 Digimon. I'm just going through the process of unlocking their Jogress forms or DNA Digivolution forms or perfect forms now. So it more or less works the same way as you would expect for Roma Digivice, and it more or less works similar to the Digivice color release from earlier this year, I believe. Oh no, maybe it was a year ago now. Geez, time does fly. And so it's more or less works the same way. It features everything from the anime canon, and that includes the Digimon movies as well. So that's why you get Terriermon as well as Paladin mode, and it has the battles from those movies as well. So anything that was animated for Digimon Adventure 02 in its original run, so we're not including any of the new movies, it's only the 3 movies, Hurricane Touchdown, no, 2 movies, Hurricane Touchdown and Revenge of Diaboromon, and of course the canon from the anime. So that means we don't get any of the extra armor evolutions for the other partner Digimon like we saw in the card game, in the video games, and in the CD drama. It's only locked into whatever happened in the anime, which is a shame, especially because on the Japanese releases you could have every Digimon evolve with every armor egg from the 02 cast. So Hawkmon with the Digi-Egg of Friendship becomes Rinkmon, for example. So that is a shame for me personally, because I do like the other armor evolutions, but it's not too surprising because more or less the Digivice color only stuck to the evolutions that appeared in the anime. So you only got the evolutions to Mega for Agumon and for Gabumon. Similar to this, you only get the Mega forms for the ones that appeared in 02. So we've got the Imperialdramon, we've got Paladin mode, and of course we have the Mega forms Seraphimon and Holydramon for Tailmon and Patamon. So it's basically everything that's in the anime is on this, and it's definitely got a lot of cute little references to the anime. An improvement that I do like from this as opposed to the Digivice version 25th is that each of the maps kind of has like a little bit of a screenshot from whereabouts in the anime that area is taking place. So it gives you a better feel for how far in the show you have actually progressed, which is a nice touch. Whereas on the Digivice color, which again works more or less the same way, cancel out of that so we don't double up on the music, and I didn't cancel it. Oh, let's just get them from this one now. So you can sort of get the areas there, but other than that there's no like cute little screenshots. There are just names of wherever you are in the world, so to speak, but there's no like cute little screenshots there. Also, another thing I really appreciate, which makes sense, is the screen is a lot bigger on the Digivice color than, the D3 color than on the Digivice color, And that makes sense because this is obviously a smaller screen and this one is a bigger screen, and that's how that works. So basically it's got cute little references like those little screenshots there. It's got cute little animations that play as you move between the maps. More or less it's got a lot of charm to it. I'm a really big fan of this. I think they improved on a lot from the Digivice version 25th, except for the Digimental unlocking. Now, the Digimental unlocking has always been a little bit of a more complicated thing, especially on the Japanese devices. So I've got my very worst for wear Digivice D3 that I got in university and took everywhere, and that's why the white is kind of, I think I tried to clean it and just made it so much worse at one point. So that's the original D3 version 2, and this is the version 15th here. So the original Digivice D3 for the Japanese version had you unlock Digimentals kind of like you would find them and there was a mini game, but the most annoying part about it is that you actually had to connect with other D3s to get all the Digimentals. So you would either connect with your Wonder Swan here, or you would use the prongs to trade Digimentals and fragments back and forth. For example, this being the version 2, the version 2s only had Hawkmon and Tailmon on them. Version 1 had Vmon and Wormmon, version 3 had Patamon and Armadimon. So you would expect that you could only get the Digimentals for those Digimon, but in fact you did not get purity or sincerity on this one. You got friendship. So effectively you were expected to trade with somebody with a version 1 to give them friendship, and so you could get your evolution from Hawkmon to Shurimon. That was a little bit annoying. So it's not quite as annoying as that, but it is close. I think that the English release, this is the English release version 1 that we got in Australia, and it's similar to release to the American version 1, and it's very much well loved. I've had this since I was a kid. I got it on release for Christmas one year, and very well loved. It's surprising that it's not in worse shape. It looks yellower on the camera for some reason, but it's definitely still got a white-ish tinge to it, at least, so it's not in terrible quality. So in this you would stumble upon them just as you were walking, and you would also do a mini game. I feel like the stumbling upon way of getting them is the better way. The mini game is kind of nice to have. However, on the new D3, the 25th anniversary D3, you have to go to your training, and you get training points as you progress through the map. And the mini game is pretty straightforward. You see your partner Digimon, you have to do one of the battle mini games. This one's shaking. You shake it, or button mash, or Simon Says, depending on what it does, and it's the same mechanics for the battling. And then you win, so that there's only succeed or fail. And when you succeed, you get 10 search points. So these are for your Digimental search. So you have to do that. You get training points every time you proceed like 300 steps through the map. And then what you do with your search points is you go to search. You can see I've already got 60, so that gives me 2 attempts. So every attempt is 30 search points. So that means you have to do training 3 times to get 1 search. And then it'll play a little animation, which is kind of cute. And then you either get a battle, an item, or a Digimental. Now, as far as I can tell, and this is what people have said, the chance of getting a Digimental is 20%, which, since you have to get 3 fragments of each Digimental to unlock the Digi-Egg, that means that if you get very unlucky, you can do it 20 times without actually seeing a Digimental. Now, the thing is that if you get a battle one, you can actually let it sit on a table and let it time out. I think it takes about 5 minutes to time out, so I'm not really going to waste your time with that there. So we'll just proceed with the battle anyway. But it is kind of annoying that you're not guaranteed to get a Digimental every time you search. So because I've gone into the battle, that uses up the 30 search points, so I'll have 1 more attempt to go there. So it goes to the battle. As normal, you get the same animations, it's the same kind of gameplay. I guess this kind of replaces the Digital Crisis event from the Color 25th Digivice, which is throughout the day Bolero will play, and you have the whatever the amount of time is to shake it. I think it's like 90 seconds until Bolero stops playing, and then if you get enough shakes in, it starts a battle. So I guess this is kind of the equivalent of that. But it feels very convoluted and very grindy, especially because you can just get unlucky. I think before I got my first fragment, I think I was up to like attempt 26 or something. It's incredibly random. It's not guaranteed that you'll ever get one, really. And you don't really need the Digimentals to proceed through the game itself. But if you want to unlock everything, and if you want to unlock the other partner, which is and you also get items, you have to keep on grinding these things, which it's not like, hard to get these points. It's not exceptionally annoying to go training. When you get like enough steps, click on training and then do whatever. See, this is the Simon Says one. So you press the buttons, you have to do it 3 times. I'm really bad at it because I'm uncoordinated, and you get your points. You do your search, and then you cry because you have an item that you don't need, or you have to get a battle. Again, if the battle shows up, just leave it on the table, go and make yourself a cup of tea or something, come back and then attempt it again, because it only consumes those points if you go through with the battle. So that's my only complaint with it, really. Otherwise, I don't have any other complaints about it. It's really nice. It is very faithful. They've added a lot of cute things that make it even more of a labor of love than, like a love letter rather, than the Digivice Color. So that's nice. The screenshots are nice. The animations are nice. But more or less it's the same in functionality as the other Digivice Color. In terms of how show accurate it is, now, people say the most show accurate is the Super CSA, which makes sense. Like in certain frames in the anime, the antenna on the D3 is a lot bigger, but I absolutely think it's the chonkiest, ugliest thing. Like, I much rather prefer the way that all the other Digivice releases have kind of had the antenna smaller. The form factor is better, so I really don't like it. It's so much bigger as well compared to all the other releases. It just looks wrong. Yes, I know it's more show accurate to certain screenshots, but it's just so ugly. I do like the fact that the Digivice Color has kept the port, the same sort of location for the port, so that's the charging port for USB-C, and this is the WonderSwan port. So that's a nice little reference there. This one is a little bit harder to flick down, but also that just might be age. Like, I've played with this so much. Again, you can tell that it's very well loved. I got a WonderSwan for it. I very much loved it at the time, but my favorite will always be the English release, just out of the pure nostalgia, and the actual, like, the shaking just feels so nice. But yeah, I'm not sure if there's anything else to say. I do recommend getting this, unfortunately, because it is premium Bandai only. That means that your best shot is to get it as soon as possible, just because it was more or less pre-order only. Because again, premium Bandai. I got mine from Zen and TCG. I would recommend them. They've always been really good and really transparent with their releases. There was a bit of a delay for the Godzilla Digimon release, but they pretty much were pretty on the ball with announcing it. There was a delay for, I think they said 80% of the DX set, so they were only sent they were sent 80% of the order from Bandai, but Bandai missed out on like 20% of it, and they were super upfront about that. They posted it to social media. But otherwise, they've been definitely getting better than they were in terms of delays, but they always announce on social media whether something is expected or not expected at a given time. So this video is not sponsored by Zen and TCG, by the way. That's just my recommendation and just who I got mine from. You can, of course, get them from Japan you want. You can get them from Hobby Genki. I would not recommend Hobby Genki because I've had terrible experiences with them. They are not transparent about when there's a delay, and if they stuff up your order, they will blame you. You will actually have to forward them emails proving to them that you didn't mess up. It's a wild interaction, and I've never had that from anyone when I'm buying toys online. Like, usually it's like, hey, my order was a little bit different. Usually the people are just like, no questions asked. They don't need you to prove via your order history that they messed up. So I would not recommend Hobby Genki. Japan one I haven't used for a while, but they're still around. I have heard things about, I think it's Okiniland? I have heard good things about them, haven't used them. I previously have said that they do sell these at EB Games. I can't remember who made the comment, so apologies, but somebody commented on my last video that they didn't actually deliver on the Digivice version 25th, and they just cancelled all the orders without any like heads up or anything. So it is what it is. I haven't used EB Games, so I'm only going by, I mean, I've used them, but not for these specific toys. So I can't really talk on that, but I'm going to stop mentioning EB Games because while I don't use them, I thought they were an option, but because somebody had that experience and I can't personally vouch for any of their Digivice releases, I'll have to just say proceed with caution if you do go through EB Games as a method of getting any of these toys. But yeah, I do love the D3, as I've mentioned. This specific release, it again is almost perfect. The Digimental grinding should have at least a higher rate than just the 20%. I don't mind the process of going through it, but at least like make it like maybe, you know, you get like a 60% chance of a Digimental, 20% chance of a battle, 20% chance of an item, or something like that. It feels very low, especially because while you don't need them to proceed the story, which feels weird, it should be you can't evolve to adult until you've passed the arc where you're not allowed to evolve with that to adult, same as this one. This unlocks it after a certain point. It feels weird getting adult so early on in the show, and that's like my only main complaint, that the Digi Eggs should be required. They should make it easier to get, and yeah. But all in all, it's definitely a love letter to the franchise, to 02. I hope they do more of these colored Digivices because they are really fun and they've got great references. Again, my only complaint is the Digimental grinding, I guess. But in any case, those are my thoughts on the Digivice D3 25th Color Revolution. Let me know your thoughts, comments, questions, etc., in the comment section below. Like this video for maybe, if you like this video enough, I'll be able to have a little bit more luck getting the Digimentals. I think I only have just the one, and it's the Digimental of Courage, which at least I got all 3 fragments like in a row. I'm not sure if that's by design, where they make sure the first one you get is the Digimental of Courage, but I did sure get random ones after that. I think I got 1 fragment of Love, 1 fragment of Knowledge, which I guess they get at the same time, so it's ordered, but then why not give me the egg in the point where the characters get the egg? Anyway, so like this video for that. Subscribe if you haven't already. If you have subscribed, tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your enemies, and of course, I'll see you in the next video. Bye!